What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan Collier and my roommate.
Devontae Hudson.
And most of you probably know that this viral video is getting around called Kony2012, which is a campaign to remove a warlord that's been dominating Uganda for apparently the past 10 years or so. Unfortunately, the facts that the video presents aren't actually all facts. They're not all true, and a lot of the documentation has been stretched. Some of the facts have been stretched to suit the nonprofit organization, which is named the Invisible Children, in ways to benefit them financially. So our first point we want to start off with is how Uganda has sort of been what they've had to deal with over the span of time. So.
Well, if you look at it, Uganda has been struggling for the past decade, past 2-3 decades, as far as you can go all the way back to genocides. But recently, dealing with Kony, the abductions and the captivity of sex slaves for him was over about 10 years ago. The fabrication of it, it's very authentic, it's very real. It happened. Many children were ultimately taken from their beds and taken from their homes and used as servants to Kony. But like I said, this was 9-10 years ago, dealing with a time period where it's not relevant to now, and the threat is not as evident as it would be now. Just a little bit of background.
And carrying off of that, I want to use a metaphor that I received from one of the websites I've been doing research on, and essentially think about this. It's if you had no idea what was going on in the United States, and someone told you that 9/11 had just 9/11 had occurred, that showed you pictures, videos, and anything that would upset you emotionally, you'd be disturbed, right? A lot of people would want to try to aid or even make it to the site. For those people who made it to the site now, they would be expecting to see debris and sorrow. Essentially, they'd be looking for what occurred, but that's not there anymore. You might see ground zero, but ground zero won't look like what it did when the disaster happened. In fact, New York doesn't even look like that. Most people are actually the incident brought people together. So in the sense that this occurred 9 years ago, it's not the same as it was back then. Right now, it's more this dictator or warlord has he's actually fled. He's not even in Uganda anymore. He's not a threat to the Ugandan people. They do have issues, but he's really not a main concern. They're actually talking peace talks right now. Now how this ties back into the Invisible Children. The Invisible Children is supposed to be a nonprofit organization, and they pull in a nice profit, really, a nice revenue from getting donations and from the federal government. So with that said, only 31% of what they obtain actually goes to help people. The rest goes in the pockets of three main people, including Russell and Jason Russell. Yes, Jason Russell, who you saw in the video, as well as two others. They spent approximately, I want to say, 1 million from last year alone. They spent over $1 million just on their national travels. In fact, not even national and international travels, as well as well over another $1 million on video production and to help their film industry that they own themselves. Which, if any of you guys don't know, when you spend $1 million making films, you're definitely gonna make more than $1 million as profit from the films. Films is very profitable. With that said,
I guess when you look at their credibility as a nonprofit organization, it's been even recorded by the charity Navigators. They've only been given a 2 out of 4-star rating. Also with the Better Business Bureau, they're not seen to be reliable, a very trustworthy organization, because they refuse and have not given up financial records, and have not kept brought necessary information to the Bureau, which makes them less credible in a sense, and more cautious. That was actually one of the CNN articles, to be very cautious when looking at giving to this organization.
With that said,
I mean, we can talk about, how there's already been efforts. The U.S. has already supported Ugandan people. There's already been training, and it's actually hard to have gone into there and actually been successful in killing Kony, because he has children soldiers, meaning that his protectors are children. So if we as United States and as people who want to help with going there and try to kill him, will actually be killing the children as well, because they are actually protecting him. So there's very different aspects that you have to look at when trying to successfully complete a task like this, especially when the person that is being brought to the forefront is not even a threat to the Ugandan people anymore.
If we haven't told you already, Kony hasn't been a threat to the Ugandan people since 2006. He fled to the Congo, and it's not known if he's dead or if he's just if he's still alive in the Congo. He's definitely dying, because it's just such harsh conditions that it's hard to sustain life. And when it comes to the charity or non-profit charity, sending money, what they do, another thing they do with their expenses is they pay off the Ugandan army, as well as other militias, to assist in the capture of Kony. And it's known that a lot of these other militias use rape as a weapon. So when you're funding these other people, when they're funding these other organizations, are also actually adding on to the problem, which is another thing. Why would they be funding these military forces when they're trying to promote? They're supposed to be promoting peace. They're supposed to be promoting a war of peace, and promoting peace talks. But that's not what they. In fact, they have posted pictures of themselves holding rifles in RPGs with the armies themselves. So the organization as a whole is definitely not trustworthy. Unfortunately, I ended up also getting in the hype and donating some money to this organization. I'm not happy. Me, Devontae, and a few of our other friends were ready and willing to start up an HBCU version of the 2012 movement, Kony2012 movement. But when we did some research the other night, last night and this morning, we were just completely shocked and disturbed at the facts that we were presented with. So what I really want to stress is, before you donate any money, make sure that you look at these facts. Don't just trust us. Look up the facts for yourself. You can find them online just about anywhere. There's so many people that prove that this organization is not trustworthy. If you believe what we say, we're holding a anti-Kony 2012 movement, because the fact that they're getting all these funding, that, in fact, from yesterday alone, they received so much money that they could be set for life. They should be set for life from what they've been doing for these past years. But it's essentially just a scam, a well-organized scam. And we're not trying to be insensitive or anything. We actually really feel for the people, including, in my opinion, African people. The people of Africa are the people of my homeland. So I'm not being insensitive about this. It's just I don't feel that the organization is what is best to help these people, including since there's many other organizations out there. If you do some research, you can easily find any that put more than 31% down to help the people. So I'll be putting a link up to show for you guys to join the anti-Kony 2012 movement. For all you teenagers out there, I know you got excited for the cover the night that they're doing, which is essentially you going out and vandalizing buildings and property to put posters up for the Kony 2012 movement campaign. But I ask and plead that you really don't, because that's just assisting them even more, and that's really not what they need. I know it sounds fun, and I know it sounds essentially like fight the power, and that's what you want to do. You're a teenager, you don't like power, but it's not the move to make. So please, please, please do your own research, support us, like, share, and subscribe. Do anything you can, but don't help them. Thank you.